This is what happens when you allow yourself to passively float along the tide of culture. You look up one day and notice that you've drifted far from where you've started, even though you haven't tried to go anywhere at all. Now, I wish I could take credit for this quote. It actually came from an episode of The Matt Walsh Show, but its truth should be evident, and even more so, its applicability to the American culture today. We, meaning the Republican Party, a so-called conservative one, as a national unit have decided that the need for a gay pride coalition is a thing at the highest levels. Roe v. Wade has been a cultural force since 1973, and upon its current, 60 million innocent souls have been slaughtered. 60 million innocent babies have been sacrificed, a proverbial river of blood that stains this country red. Any attempts to limit its power or reach to save human lives is met by a screech and a shrill unheard of in any other arena, carried on the wings of the lie that the creation of life is a detriment to those in our society who have wombs, or, women as they're normally called. This particularly evil lie, this particularly evil sin that stains our great nation is solely based on the rejection and banishment of God from our daily lives. We are made in the image of God, a pale reflection of his glory. Yet in his wisdom, he gave us a spark of his power, an after-image of a spark, in reality, that is of creation, the creation of a new member of our species, a whole other being made in the likeness of the God of the universe. And the fact that the charge for elimination of this spark is led by women is the saddest blasphemy of all. Because this is one of the things that makes women so incredibly special. They get to be the purveyors of the spark. They're the ones who get the honor of taking the product of this spark and nurturing it, first within their bodies and then from their bodies as this human life grows. A mother's role in the development of her child's life, from conception until she sends that child into the world, is unlike anything a father can do. Now, a father is essential as well. I'm certainly not passing the buck. And a child deprived of either their father's masculinity or their mother's femininity during their formative years is a shame. But it is a mother who teaches her child how to love. And as we know, the greatest of these is love. But humans are fallen, and unfortunately, a child's life is not safe even after birth. Now, if a parent is abusive, truly abusive, we as a society have decided that we can take a child from their parents. This is a power we should not use flippantly and is honestly a longer discussion for a different time, but it does give me a segue into what I want to talk about, which is pushing transgenderism on a 4-year-old being child abuse. Yes, we have a video. Yes, it is disgusting. While making this episode, I had to watch it many times, and you better believe I had a trash can beside me just in case I needed it. The despicableness of pushing the lie that anything other than your DNA can determine your biological sex, or that your gender can be opposite to that sex, and yes, we are using binary language, your 57 made-up genders have no power here. It's not only, despicable, but as we've discussed here before, it is dangerous to the mind. Because truth and reality are inextricably linked, and pushing your subjective truth forces you to try to live in a reality or outside of reality. You create a situation where someone has to fully immerse themselves into the lie. And newsflash, a 41% attempted suicide rate proves that doesn't work very well. And to push that on your child is a moral corruption of the highest order, and as such, child abuse. Lastly, and to round out the show, we talk about the heroes of the Rittenhouse trial. No, we're not talking about the defendant here. There are 18,000 different sources of information you can go to if you want it. I certainly do not want to be the 18,000th and first. It does not interest me and not what I want to talk about. What I do want to talk about is the jury in this trial, and I'm pretty sure it's in a way you haven't heard before. We have a great show planned for you tonight, and I'm glad to be back with you guys after last week. Welcome to the world of the Canceled Misfits.